Well, it's been a while, but I'm back in front of the microphone, and today I'm going to have a look at a number of stories that have really kind of caught my attention and makes you think about what's going on in the oil and gas industry globally. So today we've got Mike's Musings. There we go. That's an original title. I'm Mike Cooper, and I work with a small team of extremely talented individuals who put together probably one of the largest, if not the largest, technical subsurface database for oil and gas and for other energy sources worldwide. In today's video, we're going to have a look at the ExxonMobil preemption of an asset in a mega merger, the merger between Chevron and Hess. That's going to be an interesting story. We're going to spend a little bit of time on that. We're going to take a look at Israel, and of course, I'll share my legal opinion. Expert, not at all. There's a sort of a map showing some of the areas we're going to be talking about. And in the background, there's all the fields and all the discoveries that we have within our TROVE database worldwide. We cover a lot of the globe. So the top news story of the last few weeks is really captured in this headline here from World Oil. It says, Hess flags potential delay for Chevron merger as ExxonMobil fights for massive oil discovery rights offshore Guyana. I thought we'd kind of look into this one a little bit. So on the map here, you can see here's the Stabroek block offshore Guyana. Here's the Guyana coast. And here's the block. It's actually deep to ultra deep water. And ExxonMobil are the operator with 45%, Hess 30%, and we've got CNOOC with 25%. Now, all the discoveries, and maybe sort of 11, 12 billion barrels worth of discoveries, a few of the fields now on stream and producing oil. But that's been a fantastic, one of the top spots for exploration in the last few years worldwide. And it's, of course, now spilling across here into Suriname. But we're just kind of looking at the Stabroek block. And basically, this is to do with the Chevron-Hess mega merger. Now, this was a $53 billion deal. And we did a video on this some time ago. Get the link below. Have a look at it. It's quite fascinating. Now, Hess, with the 30% equity in the Stabroek block, they thought this would go as Chevron would pick this up from Hess as part of a corporate deal. Now, ExxonMobil recently came out and they filed for arbitration at the International Chamber of Commerce. ExxonMobil say they owe it to their shareholders. Well, I'm kind of thinking probably that's one of the motivations, but Chevron would become, of course, a much bigger and greater rival to ExxonMobil if they were to actually get this Hess mega merger done. So it was expected that, it might take until the summer to get this merger done, but now it's looking like it's going to take a lot longer. We're going to actually explain what's happened. So we have done numerous videos. The one we talked about here, the ExxonMobil Pioneer and Chevron Hess mega mergers, that's a video. But you can see down the listing there, some of our Guyana and Suriname videos, very, very popular, very informative, lots of technical data, and that's just a fraction of everything you could get if you subscribe to our TROVE database, which is ultimately what we're in business for. Now, we're not making this video for practicing oil and gas lawyers, but I have had a chat with my friend Brian, and he's a very experienced senior oil and gas lawyer. And really, the issue at stake here is preemption. Now, before we talk about what preemption is, we need to understand what a joint operating agreement is, or a JOA, as they're known. And here's two examples. These are the index pages from two JOAs, and fairly similar if you look at the size of the document. I mean, 79, 84 pages long. They basically determine when a joint venture, so several oil companies, in the case of the Stabroek block, that would be ExxonMobil, Hess and CNOOC, when they decide to work together to explore in what was a pretty frontier exploration area, kind of high risk. Nobody knew what they were going to find. It's going to take some very, very expensive drilling. Of course, it's turned out to be a fantastic success, but, initially really didn't know what you're going to find when you actually drilled into it. So you can see here, this is the rule book for how joint ventures operate together. So it's the agreement. It explains what the operator's role is, their duties, how they set budgets, how you vote on things, when meetings take place. There's sole risk provisions in here. So if somebody wants to do something, like they want to drill a well, but the rest of the group don't, well, they can actually sole risk. And basically there's rules that say, well, you can go ahead and do it. And if the others don't participate, then they'll have to pay a lot more money to get back in if they decide not to go with it. It talks about applicable law, what the area of mutual interest is, what happens in various places. Now, in some of these JOAs, there is preemption. Now, what is preemption? Well, I found this definition, and it comes from CMS. And the purpose of preemption, in simpler words than shown here, it's a right by the existing participants, the joint venture partners, to basically stop somebody new coming onto the license by actually matching the sale price that's been agreed and preempting the deal. So this is a preemption clause. Now, the way this works, and again, I'm not using very strict legal definitions here. This is very much my interpretation of what's going on. But, once the final deal has been agreed, so that's the sales and purchase agreement has been signed, then the value paid for each asset must be declared. Now, other partners in the joint venture have the right to match, that value with a cash payment. And it's not necessarily cash, but it pretty much can be simplified to that. But in a complex mega merger, it's difficult to assign the cash value paid on a specific asset. Now, there will be situations where you've got very different tax situations in different parts of the world and how they roll up together. There is also goodwill payments that are being paid to, and you can imagine that Chevron and Hess have actually been negotiating this deal for quite some time, probably months, to come to a negotiated settlement for what Chevron would pay for Hess. And all of a sudden, that deal is kind of sort of being disrupted, let's say, by ExxonMobil, basically saying, well, actually, we would like to know what you valued the 30% of the Stabroek block in Guyana. What value do you put on it? Because we might decide that we want to match that price, and under the joint operating agreement, they can do it. Or their lawyers think they can. Of course, Hess's lawyers, they think differently, and they say, no, it doesn't apply in this case. This is a corporate deal, so, preemption clauses within a single JOA in a single block in a single country, that's not a big part of the deal. Now, this 30% stake is very, very significant. Sure, it's worth billions. Now, tends to be that in more mature basins, preemptions, it's not very popular, and modern North Sea and JOEs tend to not see preemption clauses. And the reason for that is it actually can hold back a lot of deals, big deals that are being done. It's not really win-win. Somebody wanted all the assets of the company they were targeting, and then if some of the jewels in that crown are taken away, it's perhaps not quite as attractive. Anyway, risk-reward. I mean, from ExxonMobil's point of view, well, wildcatting, very, very risky business. So the early participants, they were in it from the start. They basically want to see if they can maximize the value for their shareholders. Now, what does this all mean for future mergers? Well, it's too early to say, but there is uncertainty. The deal is probably now going to take several months longer than anticipated because the lawyers will be polishing their shoes and having their day in court. It is a complex deal, and it's going to be very difficult to break out what is the cash value paid on any specific asset. We'll just wait and see what happens. We don't really have any view what's right, what's wrong. Agreements have been signed. They need to be adhered to. We don't know what's in the sales and purchase agreement between Chevron and Hess. So one thing's for sure, Christmas has come early for the lawyers. Now, Another merger that's kind of gone on the ropes, and this was an article covered by Reuters, is the NewMed deal. Now, BP and ADNOC were lining up to buy into this offer. There was a $2 billion offer by Abu Dhabi's national oil company and BP to buy a 50% stake in the Israeli gas producer NewMed. Now, because of all the uncertainty in the region, with what's happening in Gaza, etc., this deal's kind of been put on hold. Now, NewMed said all parties had agreed to pause negotiations, but ADNOC and BP have reaffirmed that they are still interested in this deal. Now here's a map, and this is a map from Welligence, and you can see here's the location of the major assets that NewMed hold. And if we have a look at those, well, this from NewMed Energy's website, you can see there's the Leviathan platform there, 22.9 trillion cubic feet of recoverable gas. It's huge. It's currently producing. There's the Phase B coming up, there's Aphrodite, and there are other assets in the portfolio. Lots of time and effort do get spent on A&D, that's acquisitions and divestments, and indeed on M&A, mergers and acquisitions. But unfortunately, lots of things in the world can change and put these things on hold. So here's just a plug for BEOS by the AAPG and the GESGB. It's the Business and Exploration Opportunities Show. It's 26th, 27th of March 2024 at the Business Design Centre in London. On day one, we've got a talk ourselves. I'm giving a presentation. Now, this one to SBE members. This is a talk that we're going to be giving on Thursday, the 28th of March, between 6 and 8, and it's going to be in the Carpenter's Arms in London. There's some idea. Pause the video if you want to see the sorts of things we're going to address at that session. I hope you find it interesting. Come along and say hello. Now, as well as that, another date, if you happen to be in London, I'm going to be talking at the MMEA, a scout meeting in London. The map here shows this scout group actually covers everything in Africa, across the Middle East, but also goes up to places right throughout the Mediterranean, up to Kazakhstan. We've got Turkey, Cyprus, Botswana, and Pakistan also in there. So lots of areas to cover. That's on the 8th of May. It is a members invite only, so it's not open to members of the public, but get in touch via the website. There's the address highlighted there, and ask the secretary for further details. So what do we summarize today? Well, lots of things are happening. It's going to be a busy year in the US courts for some. The lawyers are going to be busy. We've got lots of news videos that are on the way, and we've got a number of them in the editing room ready to go out in the course of the next few days. So if you don't subscribe to the channel, just click that subscribe button and you'll probably be notified then when we come out with a new video. Just a reminder, we do have this special deal on. It's for those interested in Namibia. What you can do there for less than £4,000 a year, you get access to a very, very extensive database with all the wells, all the discoveries, and this is kept as an evergreen document. It's full of technical information, seismic lines, maps. It's more than just a scouting service. It's more than an analog data source. It's a one-stop shop. It's at your fingertips and it's available. Send us an email. Get in touch. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you back on our channel before too long. Have a great day. Bye for now. Well, it's all about respect and professionalism, and I just like to report that I came up with this working title of Mike's Musings. Somebody in the team put it in a directory on the computer called Mike's Mumblings. You just can't get the stuff. Well, it's been a while, but I'm back in front of the microscope. It's not microscope, it's a microphone.